touching the truth.
Alright, what is going on, guys? It's Havix here, and today I'm going to be making a video talking about my hopes for this year's Need for Speed, because as you guys know, that's coming out in a few months, actually. I think they come out in like November, because that's normally when those kind of games come out. Like, most games come out, you know, end of the year, like November, December, stuff like that. And also, you know, because I'm talking about Need for Speed, I thought it'd be fitting to play a Need for Speed game. And recently, I know this isn't everyone's favorite Need for Speed, but I've been playing a lot of ProStreet, and I actually really like it. Like, it's so fun to play with a controller, or not a controller, a wheel. I mean, with a controller or keyboard and mouse, it's not that fun, but actually sitting here and using a wheel, it makes it, you know, it kind of feels like you're at a track day, you know? Which is why I like this game, because instead of it just being street racing or professional racing, it's just kind of like, you know, you go into track days, you're doing stuff like that, you build your street cars and do stuff like that, and I just think it's kind of cool. But anyway, I know I probably should have made this video a while ago, because the game is coming out. At least if we do have a Need for Speed 2019, I mean, there's a chance that we just don't get one this year. But they've been doing the every other year thing forever. And I mean, I know it's Ghost Games now, and they've really only made 2 good Need for Speed games. They weren't that good, but they were 2 decent ones, which were 2015 and Payback. I almost forgot what it was called there. And okay, yeah, I'm good. But they've only really made those 2 games. So, I mean, they could switch it up and do every 3 years, maybe, but I doubt they would. Yo, I'm so good at this game, as you guys can see here. My RX-7's look, let's just say it's seen better days. But anyways, the first thing that I kind of wanted to talk about, I mean, there's going to be a lot of kind of obvious things that everyone's been saying forever. But the first thing that I kind of want to see is free roam cops, which obviously that hasn't been in Need for Speed. I mean, it was in 2015, but in 2015 it was pretty bad. Same with the 2012 Most Wanted. You know, the cops in that game, they you know, I mean, they were there, but it felt like they weren't, because they really didn't do much. Like, sure, you got into a chase, and they chased you for like 30 seconds, and then even if you were in like a stock BRZ, you'd still be able to completely outrun them in like 25 seconds. Like, it's not that hard. So I'm just hoping that they come back with something that's kind of like the original Most Wanted police system, because in that game, it's actually like really difficult to get away. And also, you know, that just makes it a lot more fun. So instead of you just sitting here waiting for them to catch up to you, you're actually trying to get away. Which obviously, if you want it to be fun, you don't want to make it so at every intersection you have to stop for like 10 seconds just so they can catch up to you. You want it so you're going full speed and they're right behind you, chasing you. And also, along with that, I hope there are also the pursuit breakers, I think they were called. Little things that you can knock over that, you know, destroy the cars, and it makes it easier to get away. I hope there's something like that, because that was something that was kind of cool in the older games. And I think the last game that had those was, what was the game? Undercover, I think that's what it was called. Maybe they were in The Run, but I don't think they were, because that was more of like a story-driven game. It wasn't really like an open world. But yeah, also speaking of story, I hope that there isn't something like the Payback or 2015 story. The 2015 story, it was alright, but it was pretty cringy at some points. And same with Payback. Also, you know, I really hope they don't bring back, what's the dude's name? Tyler? Or whatever. I hope he doesn't come back. I don't like him. But, like, they didn't really have that many, like, good characters. I feel like they should go back to how they did it in, like, the older Need for Speed games. Which, this is obviously what everyone's gonna say. Just make it like the old games. Which, you know, then you get into a Call of Duty situation where every game's the same thing. But in the older games, like, the main character didn't really have much of a personality. He just kind of existed. which I feel like is a lot better than having some, you know, kind of annoying main character. I mean, I think 2015 was similar, and that's probably why I like 2015 more, and I almost just crashed, okay. But maybe it's just because of that, because, oh yeah, the dude's name is Tyler Moore. But I don't know. I also don't like the whole, you know, payback thing where, like, each car is, like, a different class. Well, that's okay. You know, that makes sense. But I don't like the whole, you know, each class of cars can only be used by, like, a certain character. I just don't really like that much. I feel like you should have one main character which doesn't really have that much of a name or anything like that. He's just whoever you want them to be, and they can do pretty much everything, you know? So I don't know why, I just didn't really like that about the game. It's such like a minor thing, and it doesn't really affect the gameplay that much. I mean, it affects the story, obviously, but they also said they were going back to a kind of Need for Speed Underground type of story, like Need for Speed 2015, which okay, I just totaled my car, alright. But, like that, I'm fine with it, you know? I liked 2015, and I know some people are gonna disagree with me on that and say it was a bad game. The story could have been better. The physics definitely could have been better. But the whole, like, the graphics of it, that's even better than, like, Forza and Need for Speed Payback. Like, the graphics of that game are good. The customization, I feel like, is a lot better than Need for Speed Payback. Because in Payback, you have, like, the cards that you upgraded your cars with. And I really don't think that's how it should work. I think it should be kind of like either Need for Speed 2015 or Forza, where you can put a different engine in your car, you can upgrade the engine, you can put a supercharger or turbo. Like, I feel like that's how customization should be. And I know they were just trying to kind of like dumb it down so it might appeal to like more people who don't really know what everything does. But I feel like they should just go back to how they had it in 2015, because that system was pretty much perfect. I mean, definitely could have been improved in a few ways, but it's a lot better than Payback's system. And same with the customization, but that was kind of good in both. I just hope they don't change that too much, because the customization in the Ghost Need for Speed games is actually like really good. I mean, I doubt anything like Auto Sculpt is gonna come back, so I mean, I don't really care that much. I mean, that's in this game that I'm playing now, obviously, and it's alright, but I feel like, I kind of like the whole, you know, you get certain body kits that exist in real life, you can try them out in the game, and then also, you know, if you do have that car in real life, even though they really only have a few starter, like, tuning cars, or tuner cars, and everything else is just hypercars, you know what I mean? Which is also something I feel like they should work on. But if you do happen to have one of the cars in real life, you could try on the kit in the game, see how it would look, and then possibly get it for your car. Something else I want to see come back from Need for Speed Payback is the kind of derelict system. I think that's what it was called. It was where you'd find these, they aren't really barn finds, but they're kind of similar to like the Forza barn finds. You'd find these maps that would have like these rumors or whatever on them that would say, hey, there's a part somewhere in this location, and you had to find it on the map. And I kind of liked that, so it wasn't just, you know, you got the car and then you fully upgraded it like you do in Forza. You actually have to find the different pieces to it and stuff like that. I just wish, you know, restoring it took a little bit more time, because I don't like the whole, you know, you get a car, it's all rusty and everything, and you spend $1,000 and just replace all the panels instantly. I wish there was like, maybe you had to do races to replace the panels on it and some of the parts, and maybe you had to replace the engine too to get it to run. Just something like that, because I like, you know, for example, in Car Mechanic Simulator, I like getting some old pile of crap and like fixing it up and making it something cool. I don't like in Forza where find a barn find, you give it to whatever the dude's name is, and then an hour later you have a fully restored car that's all perfect. I don't really like that. I want to kind of do that myself. So I hope that's something that's in the game. Also, everyone's been saying this, but they need to get rid of brake to drift. It's not good. I feel like they should, one, add a clutch to the manual mode, or make a separate mode that you could use, you know, stick shift, clutch, and everything like that. Because although obviously it's Need for Speed, it's not a very realistic game. I still like using a wheel and a shifter, and I just don't like, I think you can use a shifter in Payback, but I'm not 100% sure. I've never, but I know for a fact you can't use the clutch. But I don't like those games that do that. I wish you at least had the option. Obviously, it might not make you that much faster, you know what I mean? And it might just be easier to use clutchless or automatic, but I just like being able to do that. And also, if brake to drift was gone, then the handbrake would actually have a function, because right now, why would you use it if you could literally just tap the brake slightly and go into a drift? And also, with wheels, that makes it a lot harder to play the game when you have brake to drift, because like, I've tried playing Burnout Paradise with a wheel. Don't ask me why. I know it's like, it doesn't make sense at all, but I've tried playing it with a wheel, and you try to slow down and you slide into a wall. Like, you can't control the brake to drift in those games. You tap the brake, even if you're not turning or trying to drift, you still slide. And I just think that's kind of annoying. Also, like, look, okay, I shifted that perfectly, and it even said perfect shift, but it still, like, took an hour to go back. I've never understood this game. Like, it's weird. I don't know. Like, I'm sitting here slamming this thing into gear, and half the time it doesn't do it fast enough. Anyway, also kind of speaking about, not speaking about, but because I am doing a drag race, I hope there is a drag strip on the game, you know? I know Need for Speed is supposed to be kind of illegal street racing, but I still hope there is something like Forza where you have a drag strip somewhere that you can go and test your cars on, or at least an airfield or something like that. I know that's what they used in Payback. A lot of people use that for like the top speed and drag races, but I hope there are actual drag race events. I know there are in Payback and everything, but I hope there are some on actual drag strips. Maybe not that, but maybe, like I said, an airfield or something like that, some actual flat ground. I mean, obviously ones on the street are also fun, but I just wish there were a few of them that you could do on an actual drag strip, because I like the whole, you know, actual full-on quarter mile instead of just it's about that distance, you know. That was not a false start. Okay, that's, yep. Let's just ignore the fact that I red lit there, and yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry for rambling, because I've kind of gotten on a topic and then not really gone on to the next one. But there's only really a couple of the things that I can say about it, and that is, obviously I've said brake to drift, I've said all that. I just hope that, you know, the game is fun, like the story is good. I know I kind of talked about that a little bit, but even though they were cheesy, the older Need for Speed stories, I don't think they're that bad. You know, obviously, like I said, they are very cheesy and a little bit cringy at times. But I feel like if they did a story more like that, that would do pretty well. You obviously got Cross, who's trying to arrest you. You got all that. You have the blacklist that you have to climb up and then take down. Like, I like stuff like that where, like, you have a cool car at the beginning of the game and it gets taken from you, and then you have to work your way up to try to get it back or something like that. I know that's literally what Most Wanted is, but I like that kind of story, you know, and if they do something like that, that would be pretty cool. Either that or something like the Carbon story, which I've never completed Carbon, so I'm not 100% sure on the story, but from the stuff that I've heard, that one's also really good too. Same with the Underground games. So if they took something similar to those games and kind of based their story, or at least like the main plot of it, off of those games, I feel like that would do pretty good. I mean, obviously not copying it exactly, because then it would literally just be a clone of those other games. But if they did something similar, that I feel like that would. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video at all, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. If there's anything that you think I missed and that you guys hope is in the game. Well, one other thing that I forgot to say. Rubber banding needs to go, because I think that's a problem in this game, or it feels like it sometimes, and it's just really annoying. But yeah, if you guys think there's anything else that I missed or that I should have included or something like that, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.